Yes, guys, what is going on? Happy Wednesday. I was about to say happy Tuesday. Happy Wednesday. Big up to everyone, man. You guys know what it is. Another day, another stream. I told you lot, 10 p.m. streams is where it's at for the month of Ramadan. Big up to everyone who is fasting. Day 3 complete of Ramadan, going into day 4. Champions League football is still on right now because another game has gone to extra time, just like the Arsenal game yesterday. But I'm not going to lie, the Atletico and Inter game has been a lot more entertaining today than it was a couple weeks ago in the first leg. But we're not here to talk about that. I've got the game on. I'm watching it, but not as much attention is focused on it like I was paying attention to the Arsenal game yesterday. But you know what it is, man. We're here Friday night. I was about to say Friday night. This is how you know I'm already 2 days ahead. Late night streams, 10 p.m. streams every day during Ramadan. We're bringing the content, man. We are bringing the content. Be sure to hit the like button. Be sure to subscribe. Now, originally my plan was to start off the stream talking about finance. I mean, who doesn't love to talk about money? I was going to talk about finance. I was going to, I had a whole kind of layout prepared, making sense of Manchester United's Q2 financial results, explaining how it could impact our transfer budget, explaining the impact on the PSR rules and FFP. That was the plan. We are still going to continue with that plan. However, I think is obviously more telling in the title of this video, and obviously in the thumbnail of it, Marcus Rashford. Now, it's not definite news. It's not definite news, but that's the only reason why I'm actually mentioning it, because it's reported by, I think it was the Mirror, that PSG could be interested in Marcus Rashford this summer for 75 million. 75 million for the Manc born and bred, left wing, left forward, whatever you want to call him. 75 million. Now, it's also reported, I'm taking this all with a pinch of salt, but the fact that this has already kind of started circulating before the transfer window, before the end of the season, makes me think that there's definitely some truth in it, especially as a Mbappe replacement. I mean, that's the terms that I'm hearing. I don't know how accurate that is, if he's actually going to be a pure replacement for Mbappe. I think maybe not in terms of talent wise, but in terms of I was going to say even in terms of name, but even then that wouldn't be the case. But he would be a replacement position wise. He would be a replacement for that left hand side of PSG's front line. Now, I will be very shocked if United get an offer above 85, 90 million and they don't take it. Now, I can see negotiations maybe happening for this deal. Manchester United value him more on the side of 100 million. PSG's apparently, look at him and think his price tag is more around the 75 million. So there's about a 25 million difference in valuation in terms of what Manchester United kind of see him at and what PSG see him at. Now, whether they'll meet a kind of middle point, that's I think a different thing. But I do not see Marcus Rashford leaving Manchester United unless it's for the price that Manchester United want. And I'm not saying I don't see him leaving at all, because I'll be real, I actually don't know who will leave this summer in terms of for big fees. I could tell you the small fees. I could tell you, like the Donny van der Beeks. I could tell you, the Brandon Williams. Like the small players you get off the books. I can kind of foresee that. I can't foresee whether United will sell someone like Marcus Rashford or they'll sell someone like Bruno Fernandes. But the fact that this is already kind of up in the air before the season has even ended, maybe PSG are testing the waters. Maybe this is just a story that Marcus Rashford's PR team are putting out just to kind of see what the audience, see how the audience gauge with it. I've seen so much discourse flying around on this topic today, and all I keep seeing is United fans saying, take it, take it, take it. Joshua says, please accept the offer ASAP. Big up Firestarter says, I can't see that happening. I think only those on loan and whose contracts end will leave. Rashford's worth 40ish. I don't think Rashford's worth 40ish. I don't think I think Rashford's worth definitely more than that. I definitely think Marcus Rashford is worth more than 40 million. Whether United could get that for him is a different story, because United in the past have definitely undersold, and I think that will, it won't change immediately in the first window with Ineos, but I think they'll look to try and change that. I think they'll look to try and change that. I think when you think about, and I don't want to be sentimental. I hate being that sentimental kind of person. But when you think about the selling point with Sir Jim Ratcliffe before he came into Manchester United, his particular slogan was like, make Man United Manchester again, or something like that. That was his particular slogan that he had. And I think that would go against because that really, resonated with a lot of fans. That idea resonated with a lot of fans. So for them to now sell Marcus Rashford, who kind of is the physical description of what Sir Jim Ratcliffe kind of sold or tried to sell when he was buying the club, I think that kind of goes against it. And that's not me saying, by the way, guys, that is not me saying that he doesn't want, like, we shouldn't sell him. And that, I think all offers should be explored within reason when it comes to players. But, we know PSG have the money to be spending. They spent how much money on Kolo Muani? They spent how much money on Gonzalo Ramos, Vitina? They spent a lot of money on players. We know that PSG have money. So for once, I think if United do look to sell Marcus Rashford, especially under Sir Jim Ratcliffe, they need to look at it and be like, not going to lie, we need to do to clubs what clubs have been doing to United for the last 10 years. And we need to get people to overpay. Now, what Marcus Rashford's worth, I think, is quite difficult to value. I think it's a very difficult thing to value in terms of his exact price. But I think when you look at the market and how saturated the market has become, I mean, you had Chelsea paying 100 million for Mudryk. If Mudryk, I'm not saying Mudryk is worth 100 million, but that's how much Chelsea paid for him. So if Chelsea paid 100 million for Mudryk, come on, guys, we have to be realistic. Marcus Rashford should go for more than that. But of course, that's just me going off of an inflated market and how other clubs have inflated transfer windows. I mean, I can't remember the last time. I can't remember the last time Chelsea paid a reasonable fee for a player in a transfer window. I'm not gonna lie. Inter got a chance. I don't want to get distracted by this Inter game. I actually don't care who goes through between Inter and Atletico. I actually don't care. But if you haven't watched the game, Thuram missed the craziest chance in the game, and then Griezmann missed the craziest chance to win it for Atletico. So that sums it up. It could go to penalties, and it's going into the second halves now of extra time. Big up to Payne, newest member in the community. Welcome to the family, welcome to the gang, welcome to the minion ship. That's what it's called. Just like Payne, guys. If you want to join the membership, you can. It's the pinned comment in the chat. You get your badges, you get emojis, you get your custom member content, and of course you get to support the growth of the channel. Big up to Joshua, says it's time for Rash to go, time for United full reset. It's funny because when everyone, and big up to Joshua for that super chat, it's funny because when everyone talks about the full reset and the summer transfer window kind of offloading a lot of players, I realized, guys, Bruno and Rashford, only one of them is going. If any goes, it's only going to be one. I do not see Manchester United selling two of their marquee signings. As much as people might not like it, they are the names and the faces of the club. And of course, it's football. You don't want the club to be associated with one player. But Bruno and Rashford are the biggest names in the team. Yeah, Bruno is the captain. Rashford is the example for academy players, i.e. you can go from the academy to the first team and have a long career with the first team. I will be very, very shocked if both, and I actually did a video. I did a keep or sell video a couple of weeks ago, and I said I would keep Bruno and I would sell Rashford, because I think what the reasoning was for pricing. I said for money, you definitely get more for Rashford than you would for Bruno. It's 100% profit. Of course, we're going to talk about, the finances of the club later into the stream. So we could talk about how, that would impact it. But essentially, it's 100% profit. Academy player, it will help United to reach the PSR rules, FFP, and it will allow them on a financial basis for transfers in particular to spend quite healthy in a window if they need to. Whereas Bruno Fernandes is different because they have to make a profit based on whatever his amortized rate is in that financial year. They have to try sell him for more than that. So say his amortized cost for the year plus his wages is 40 million. They need to sell Bruno for more than 40 million to make a profit. Whereas Rashford, the only cost that they have on their books for Marcus Rashford right now is his salary. That's it. Albeit it's a hefty one and it's a big salary. That's the only thing that they have on their books right now. So Manchester United could lean more towards the idea of selling Marcus Rashford more. He's younger. He is younger than Bruno Fernandes. So that is also another reason why they would look to sell him, maybe sell him instead of, selling someone like Bruno Fernandes. I think, even though I think it's probably easier to go out and buy a replacement for Bruno than it would be for Rashford, United have options to play on the wing, or they can switch up the formation. They can switch up the formation if necessary. I do think, though, I don't think the club will wait for a new manager to be appointed in the summer, if there will be a new manager, to make a decision on players. So I don't think, for example, if Erik ten Hag doesn't stay in the role and a new manager comes in the summer, I don't think they will wait for the new manager to come in before they make decisions on selling players. It's just, really, I just don't see that happening. I think they already know who they want to sell. I think we already kind of know the players that might not. I think we can make a list basically and have a definitely going, maybe going, staying, definitely staying. We could definitely kind of distribute players into that because, you look at people like Casemiro, I think is definitely leaving. Varane, I'm still kind of 50-50 about Varane. I don't want Varane to leave personally. I think financially it makes more sense to keep him in comparison to, keeping someone like, I don't know, Harry Maguire. It makes more sense to keep Raphael Varane. But then again, there's other players I know that are definitely leaving. Like I said earlier in the stream, Brandon Williams, definitely going to leave. Donny van de Beek, definitely going to leave. Anthony Martial, his contract expiring, so he's definitely gonna be gone as well. So I think there's players that are definite to leave eventually. It's just a matter of the summer coming around and them leaving. Now, let's be real, guys. Just on the topic quickly of kind of like Marcus Rashford, I don't think Marcus Rashford gets sold unless United have a definite option to bring in replacement for him. It's as simple as that. I don't think he gets sold unless they definitely have a replacement coming in for him. Now, that left-hand side in this kind of in football right now is a very interesting one. That left wing side is a very, very interesting one. But I'm not gonna lie, I said it at the beginning of the stream. I think this is just paper talk. Of course, we're gonna entertain it. We're gonna chat about it because I want to hear people's thoughts about that. But it's just paper talk. I think PSG are trying to test the waters. It could even be coming from his own team, his own PR team that just want to gauge the audience, gauge the market, see, get people talking about it a little bit. Because 75 million as a end all or be all kind of fee does not seem realistic enough. I'll be real. People don't rate Rashford like that. But in a world where I've seen Mudryk go for 100 million, Rashford should be going for at least 100 too. That's that. And that's the thing. United need to learn how to sell their players. I'm not against United selling players, especially if I feel like they've run their time down. Like, for me, in an ideal world, Marcus Rashford would stay at United. He would perform every season. And he'd go on to break Wayne Rooney's record, like becoming great at the club in an ideal world. But unfortunately, we don't live in an ideal world. But in terms of for the story, that's how I would like for it to play out. But it might not play out like that because I think Marcus Rashford's had very inconsistent time, or he's had inconsistent seasons at Manchester United. It's been very much up and down, up and down. One season he plays well, one season he plays bad. One season he plays well, one season he plays bad. And when he plays bad, Rashford is one of them players where when he plays bad, he plays bad. When he plays bad, he plays bad. Big up to Ghost of Minute. Did you see Marcus Thuram grab Savage's nuts? This UCL referee in his wild. I saw Thuram get slapped in the face, like he got back in the face, like calm. Varane going, hopefully. I think I'm one of the few people that does not want Varane to leave. I genuinely think I'm one of the very few people that does not want Varane to leave. And my reasoning is that if United, we've already got Lisandro Martinez, who we're going to talk about him because he's joining up with Argentina in the international break next week. I'm under the impression that there's no better camp to be at than your home camp and, you know, kind of just recover from your injury. But again, each their own. I'm not sure if it might have a mental value for Argentina having Lisandro in the camp. But the reason why I want to keep Varane is we have Lisandro Martinez who could have injury problems. He could have injury problems, number one. So you're going to lose that leadership in the back line. I don't want to have the weight of young players coming into the team and having no guidance and leadership in that back line. I'll be real. I don't want that. I think if United were to bring in someone like Todibo, because that's a name. I've seen Todibo links today as well. That made me laugh because how are Nice saying, how is United saying that what Nice are valuing Todibo at is too much? Like, it's two clubs owned by the same person. It's like you're just talking to Sir Jim Ratcliffe is telling Sir Jim Ratcliffe that the price that he has for Todibo is not good enough. That made me kind of laugh. But I'll say one thing about Varane is that, let's be real, guys. We could talk about, I don't even want to talk about actually hearing Varane is injury prone. I don't want to hear that, because out of all the players who have been injured this season, in particular, all the players that have been injured this season and have missed games, Varane has missed the least number of games out of all of them. He's missed. Obviously, he had that little period in like November times where he was beefing the manager, so he wasn't playing and it was injury. But I'll be real. Rafael Varane for me is a leader. He is a lead. Listen, you don't be part of that Real Madrid team that won champs like that, won UCLs, won La Ligas. You don't become part of that team by chance, yeah? You have to have some sort of dog in you. You have to have some sort of fight in you. And my only worry is that we lose out on Lisandro Martinez maybe to injury, and we lose that in the back line. We will lose that. Varane as a like a guide, like a mentor to whatever centre-backs we bring in, because let's be real, United have to bring in 2 centre-backs this summer. United have to bring in at least, I say max, it has to be 2 centre-backs, young centre-backs. I'm not talking about old centre-backs, young centre-backs. I've seen quite a few players that we've obviously been linked to, Branthwaite, Todibo. They look like they're going to be a bit pricey in it. They look like they're going to be a bit pricey. But we have to bring in centre-backs. And you look at the pecking order of centre-backs. Now, I nearly got shot. Like, not literally, but like indirectly. I nearly got shot because I said I would keep Johnny Evans next season. I said I would keep Johnny Evans next season just because it's good to have that experience in your team. Like, the one thing that I don't want, and maybe I'm wrong for thinking this, because, you know, I look at teams like Arsenal who've got a relatively young squad in comparison to, you know, other major teams right now in the Champions League and whatnot, and they're doing quite well. But I don't want the lack of experience to get to United in, you know, the first year or two of development. You know, having younger players in the team. We got a young Kobe, we got a young Garnacho, a young Højlund. You know, we got players who are still early in their career. Dalot is technically a younger player. He's not a seasoned fullback. He's not a 27, 28, 29-year-old fullback. So he is, I won't say young, but I won't say inexperienced either. But Johnny Evans, similar to Varane for me, comes with like a heap of, it's wealth that you can't buy. It's wealth that you can't buy. And you've seen it this season, especially when Evans has played, how calm he is. How calm he is on the ball, off the ball. It's just, I couldn't believe it. You know, when I went to watch Everton the Everton game on the weekend, guys, I couldn't believe it. I said to Flex and him outside of the stadium, I said, it's 2024. Who would have thought I'd be standing here saying that Johnny Evans is our best centre-back? I would never have thought I would be here, but yet here we are. I'll keep Evans and sell Varane. I hear that. I would play Varane at left back. He's meant to be super quick, but he's never shown it. Varane is not he's not a fullback. Varane will get dusted playing at left back. Can I just say that? He's not rapid, but he's not slow. Like, He's not rapid, but he's not slow. But that's the thing is, like, I was reading a very interesting article today on The Athletic. You don't know I love to read articles on The Athletic. I was reading an article on The Athletic today, and it was talking about why United face so many shots in comparison. And I always say this, by the way. Someone said to me I was making up excuses, but I always said that I didn't like this whole notion of United concede 25 shots, 30 shots a game, because really, how many of those are actual opportunities that United are conceding? And that's exactly what the article was saying. The article was saying, you know, United may be conceding 30 shots a game, but really none of them are actual clear opportunities. They're just block. Most of them are like blocks, etc. Anyways, one of the reasons, and obviously we've been knowing this, is that United concede a lot of shots on goal because of the line that we play. And the line that we play is because our players cannot play a high line. And that is also that causes a domino effect in our midfield and our attack, because as a result, our strikers playing really forward, pressing, our wingers are pressing, Bruno and whoever's the second midfielder with Bruno pressing, and then that gap between Casemiro and the front line who are pressing is so big because our line is so deep. And that's obviously because of Varane, Evans, Lindelof, Maguire, whoever's playing at centre back, unfortunately. But I personally would keep Varane. I personally would keep Varane. But before we actually get into the who we would keep, who we would not, I think this game is probably going to go to penalties. It looks like this game is probably going to go to penalties. Obviously, Manchester United just announced their half year results / Q2 results for the financial year. Of course, in football, the financial years go from July to June. Is it July to June? No, it's June. Yeah, June is their financial year, is when their financial year starts. And the thing that stood out to me the most, guys, is that bun the Glazers, first and foremost. Bun the Glazers. But the thing that stood out to me is that the Glazers paid professional fees for the sale of the club in the process, you know, of selling to Sir Jim Ratcliffe. And the cost had to be absorbed by the club. Now, I'm under the impression that if you are selling your asset, or you're selling some of your asset, should the professional advice, the cost for professional advice, not come from your own pocket rather than it be an expense to the club? Now, the only reason why I'm saying this is because I'm a fan of United. Like, this is also a possibility as to why. This is not, by the way, me saying verbatim, this is the reason, but this could be a possibility why United could not afford to buy anyone on loan in January, because they paid 9.6 million pounds in professional fees relating to the sale of the club, the whole process of selling to Sir Jim Ratcliffe. That does not include an additional 30 million that's due to be paid to the investment bank Rain Group, which I'm not sure when it will be paid. It must be paid definitely like in the coming months, because this is a cost that's been absorbed in this financial year. So I can imagine that it's definitely gonna hit their books in this financial year, and that will cause, I think, a big impact for the club's profit and sustainability rules that is run by the Premier League. Now, if you guys don't know what the profit and sustainability rules is, just in kind of layman's terms, across a 3-year period, clubs are allowed to have so across a 3-year financial period, clubs are allowed to make a certain number of losses, and if you exceed that, then you get fined, you have points deductions, all of that kind of stuff. Which is why over the last couple January transfer windows, United have been very strict with what they spend, how they spend, if they spend. They've been very, very strict in that. And unfortunately, United have been in a position over the last, I would say, couple of years where they've not been able to spend like that. The last time we brought someone in the January transfer window with a reasonable fee was probably Bruno. I can't remember after that. What was that? Igalo was a loan. Weghorst was a loan. Sabitzer was a loan. They don't really be buying people like that in the January window. And one of the reasons, of course, is because of the calculations that relate to the profitability and sustainability rules. PSR. That might be what you hear a lot. PSR. That's the profit and sustainability rules. That is a separate point, separate entity than FFP, financial fair play. That's a completely different thing. On top of that, if you are in UEFA competition, so if you're in Champions League, if you're in Europa League, then there's a UEFA compliant financial regulation that you have to adhere to. So there's a lot of rules that clubs kind of have to the rules that they have to abide in order, across a football season, and obviously across a financial year. Now, let's look at the things that stood out to me the most, and how this will kind of impact not only the transfer window, but the impacts of wages, salaries, who's the smarter player to keep, etc., etc., etc. Yes, this game has gone to penalties. This game is going to penalties right now. Let me just make this a little bit bigger because I can barely see it myself. You lot know me, man. I love a good article on The Athletic. I love a good article. But for the half-year results, or Q2 results, if you want to call it that, Manchester United have reduced. So they had a higher pre-tax loss in the first quarter. It's now been reduced in the second quarter. Also, the second quarter also reflects the sale of the club because it's up to December. Actually, does it reflect the sale of the club? No, because it's January when he was actually officially took over. So it actually wouldn't. So Q1, United had 32 million in losses at the end of Q1. In Q2, they had 27 million in profit. As a result, as of Q2, they only have a 5.6 million loss, which is reasonable. It just shows that despite Q1 being a bit of a dip, Q2 sort of picked up for them financially. Now, I'm curious to know what actually made that pick up, because it won't be Champions League. I think Champions League might actually be being out of Champions League might actually be a reason why they may have made a bit less revenue. So like, as I mentioned, the PSR rules cover a 3-year period. So, at the end of this financial year, it will cover the 2 years before that, and then this financial year. So it will combine the overall results from your financial statements to then ensure that you're basically within the bracket that you're allowed to breach. So the biggest thing is, of course, United. This is no secret. United's revenues come predominantly from match day revenue and broadcasting revenue, which saw an increase of 225 million this season so far. And then this, like I mentioned earlier, 9.6 million is the magic number. That is 9.6 million is the magic number for the professional fees that were paid relating to the process of selling the club. And I still don't get why that's the case. I don't know why Manchester United have had to take the hit for that. I think the Glazers should have taken the hit. They got the money for that. I mean, you just made how many millions from selling the club? What's the biggest expense for Manchester United? Wages. Wages are the biggest expense. So of course the wage bill increased from the same period last year, and that's only because it's not because United have been giving everyone pay rises, they've been giving them pay rises, but it's pay rises within everyone's contract. If you qualify for Champions League, I think you get a 25% pay rise, so which is why that the club's wages have gone up by around 18 million from what it was in the prior year. I'm going to take a pause, by the way, guys, because I want to watch the penalty shootouts. Now, the biggest, of course, I've seen people riled up about this, the debt increase in debt, which is going to happen. It's going to continue to happen until United actually pay off their debt, unfortunately. The debt has gone up by about 32 million, which is partly due to a drawdown of the club's revolving credit. Now, like I said, United had a very quiet January transfer window because they just, quite frankly, couldn't afford it. And Erik ten Hag told us time and time again, United do not have the capacity to buy anybody, whether it's a backup striker, whatever it was, United do not have the money to do that. And the financial results in Q2 kind of just clarified it for us. And the reason why this 5.6 pre-tax loss in Q2, so it's a combination of Q1 and Q2. The reason why that's a big deal is because, as I mentioned, for the PSR rules, it will put together those losses or profits made over a number of years. And if we just look at the previous 2 years combined, it's mentioned here, the previous 2 years, oh, the penalties are about to start. The previous 2 years had about 183 million. Plus this 5 million, it makes it 188 million. Now, this is only including half a year of results, so we will only know until like at the end of the year. But as long as United don't make a dramatic loss in the last 2 quarters of the financial year, they'll be good to go. They'll be good to go. The limit is, as I mentioned, 215 million, and right now it's within 188, so it's still within reason. Guys, I'm gonna quickly I'm gonna quickly pause it right there because I'm just gonna watch these penalties. I apologize if you're not watching the penalties. But first penalty stepped up. Who do I want to win? Who do I want to lose? Everyone I want to win never wins. First penalty. Let's go. Oof. Ooh, what a penalty. What a penalty. That was... He blasted it in. He blasted it in. He blasted that in. I apologize, guys. I know. I shouldn't be doing this, but Memphis Depay scored the goal that took it to extra time. What you got, Memphis? Big up to David in the chat. Big up to Adam as well. Memphis Depay, another rocket. These men are just blasting it in. These men are just blasting. I hate Diogo. Simeone gets on my nerves. Oh my! If there is anyone in this, any manager that irritates me, yeah, Pep Guardiola doesn't even irritate me the way that Simeone irritates me, and I hate Pep. I don't like Pep, but Simeone just irritates me. I don't know what it is, but he's ugh. Alexis Sanchez. Oh, he's aged. Alexis Sanchez has aged so much. Oh, he misses. Alexis Sanchez misses. Oblak saves it with his legs. Oblak saves it with his legs. Inzaghi don't look happy. What? That's a bad penalty, bro. He went straight down the... He tried to like clip it into the middle. It's his hands. He saved it with his hands. Oblak saved it with his hands. I thought he could save it with his legs. That is a bad penalty from Alexis Sanchez, bro. That is not a good pen. That's not a good pen. It's not a good one. I'll be real. That's not a good one. I don't know who I want to win, guys. I don't know who I want to win. I'm not saying who I want to win. If I say it out loud, I might jinx it. I might just jinx it. These men are praying. What? Oh, he missed! Oh, shit! Oh, my days! Oh, my days! Soul missed! Soul ain't got no soul. That's a crap penalty, man. That's a crap penalty, guys. What kind of penalties is this? What is going on? What is going on? 2 back-to-back penalties missed. One by Inter, one by Atletico. Third penalty for Inter. He's going to sky it. I just feel like he's going to sky it. Oh, he missed it! Oh, back-to-back. Oblak saved back-to-back penalties. Oh, my God. Oh, my days. Inter might be going home. Inter might be going home. After what David Raya did yesterday, I didn't think another keeper would have a better penalty shootout. I did not think a keeper would have a better penalty shootout. them. Inter have missed 2. Atletico has missed 1. Atletico is stepping up to take their 3rd penalty. I don't want Atletico to go through, guys. I don't. And they score their penalty. I don't want them to go through. I might just watch. I need to watch Mo's stream. I know Judge Mo. I know is going crazy. I was watching his stream earlier today, and if Inter go out, this will be a shock. How you go from being in the finals last year to going out this year? For that chance that Thuram missed, he needs to be benched. He needs to be benched. 4th penalty, he's gonna miss it. I just feel like he's gonna miss it. I just feel like, I don't know why, but I just feel like he's gonna miss it. Go on. Go on. Inter have not lost in the calendar year, by the way. Oh, straight down the middle. He just blasted that in. You know how hard it must be to step up and take a penalty after your teammates have just missed 2 in a row? The pressure is getting worse. The pressure is getting worse. Yeah, the pressure is not it. Anything to spite that piano player in the Inter team. I can't lie, Alexis Sanchez, his time at United was one that just unfortunate. It was just unfortunate. Can't be too mad. Like we United is like a sunk hole. Every player comes and their talent just goes out the window. Go on. I don't want Diego Simeone to go through, man. After the football they were playing last in the first leg, yeah, and today what they did today, if they should play football like that all the time. Good penalty, top corner. Now Inter have to score their penalty and save Atletico's last penalty. I don't know how realistic that is. Oh, that went crossbar and in. Oh, that's so lucky that went crossbar and in. You know who I don't like? I don't like DePaul. I don't like him. I just don't like him. I don't know what it is. I just don't like him. It's like Simeone. I know why I don't like Simeone. Simeone just irritates me so much. I'll never forget though, guys. Atletico versus Liverpool. Just before the pandemic started, if you know, you know. That was one of the best Champions League games I watched in a long time. Lautaro! A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god! The penalty. Hold on. A'udhu billah. I seek refuge from the devil. That's why I seek refuge from the devil. Oh my god. That is the. How can your team need you to score to give them a chance to stay in and you go and do that? Wallahi, Lautaro Martinez. I don't know. I know he's been having a good season. I know he's been having a good season. Look at this kid crying. Why are you crying, bro? Why are you crying? I know Lautaro has been Let me see what Mo's stream is saying right now, because before I get back to my stream, oh my god, I know Mo is going. I know Mo's bugging out. I know for a fact Mo is bugging out 110% right now. His stream is going nuts. He looks like he's about to cry. He literally looks like he's about to cry on stream. Get them. No, but honestly, guys, you step up to take a penalty like that, you better not miss. Wallahi, you better not miss. You step up to take a penalty like that, you better put it in. The fact is, one thing to miss the penalty. Yeah, it's one thing to miss the penalty, but to sky it like that, oh my god, that is a horrible pen. That is a horrible penalty. Oh my, honestly, goddamn. That made my day. That's made my day. That penalty has made my day. I low-key wanted Atletico to go out. I told you guys, even if I say it in my head, the team, even if I support them out loud or I support them in my head, the team always goes out. I wanted Inter to go through. I didn't want Atletico to go through. They go through. Yesterday, I didn't want Arsenal to go through. Arsenal go through. The only time that I've actually not jinxed the team is Ivory Coast in the AFCON final when I wanted Ivory Coast to win. That's the only time I actually haven't jinxed it. I nearly jinxed it when they nearly lost. But that penalty was horrid. Honestly, I could spend the rest of the stream analyzing that. But we're going to get back to it. If you just joined us, be sure to hit the like button. Be sure to subscribe. We have been talking about what we've been talking about. I want to hear everyone's thoughts, of course, about Marcus Rashford, 75 million. We've been talking about, PSR, United's financial position as of right now, with their Q2 results that has been announced. So PSR allows a threshold 3-year period of 105 million. That's the limit, the loss. That's kind of the loss limit. Now, luckily for United, it's reported by The Athletic that they will have a lot of things that they can kind of write off. So anything that is investment within, they call it R&D in other industries. So I guess in football it's called R&D too, research and development. So things like in particular, it's mentioned here, the infrastructure, women's football, youth development, and community work, that can be written off. Luckily for United, United have just built a new facilities for the women's at Carrington. That kind of expenditure can be written off. Community work that they do can be written off. Youth development can be written off. Infrastructure, so any sort of, if they finally decide to, I don't know, fix the swimming pools at Carrington, all of that stuff, it can be written off. So it could leave United in a better. As it stands, reportedly, United are more confident of being below the PSR limit. Now, this is the same PSR limit that clubs like Everton, Leicester, etc. have been struggling with over recent years. And why has this been put into place? This has been put into place by the Premier League so that owners cannot, excuse my English, take the piss. They cannot take the piss when it comes to the financial well-being of a club. They have to invest and spend money to make money, but within reason. They cannot go years, say 3-4 years of making hefty losses on their financial statements. I would go as, I wonder why did the Premier League implement PSR? Was it because of specifically because of clubs that were owned by people that basically ran it into the ground, teams like Wigan, etc. I always wondered that. But how will that impact United? If United are able to stay within the PSR limit, good on them. That means they can go out and spend in the summer transfer window. It's as simple as that. Are United going to spend? We don't know. Is United going to sell Rashford? We don't know. But this is actually, they wish we could write off Anthony. I don't think Anthony, I think Anthony is going to be one of them players where even if Ten Hag stays, Anthony is going. If Ten Hag goes, Anthony's going. I think he's a player that, unfortunately, well, not unfortunately, because I don't like him. I don't rate him. I don't think he's a good player. But I do think that Anthony is a player that, regardless of who the manager is, the ownership are not impressed with him. And it's not me saying like that's facts, but it's just a feeling that I get, because even the fact that his own manager, who fought tooth and nail to sign him and fights every battle for him in the media, has now benched him for pretty much the entire calendar year. It's quite telling. That's quite telling that not only does because there's a whole conspiracy theory. There's always conspiracy theories that the manager's forced to play certain players, etc. That's not the case with Anthony. He just, quite frankly, doesn't want to play him now. One player that could be returning back from injury, especially after international break, Mason Mount, a player that could be back from injury. Finally, after he's been out since November. How long is that? Is that 5 months? That's near enough to 5 months. He's been out with a calf injury, apparently. It hasn't been an injury that's required any surgery, because we haven't seen him having any sort of surgery. So it's not been any sort of injury that's required surgery. But Mason Mount can be back. And I'm maybe part of the minority. I'm definitely part of the minority, actually, that thinks, I don't think United should judge. I think it's unfair to kind of judge his time based on this season, basically. Or whether he'll be good for United, I think cannot be judged yet. Because unless he has a run of games over the next 9 games or so, where he plays game in, game out, then I could be like, okay, we can talk about it. I know some people actually, so a few people in the chat have said they don't need to see him play in the team to know that he's crap. And I think that's a bit harsh. I think a new environment, a new club, new tactics, new manager, all of that stuff. I didn't even read the article by Samuel Luckhurst today. I saw quotes about it. I didn't bother reading it because it just sounded like, from the quotes, it just sounded like a bunch of negative stuff. I mean, I don't see the point of a player coming back from. You wait for a player to come back from a long-term injury before you put out a piece that basically suggests that he joined the club for non-footballing reasons. I mean, the only other reason that that you're alluding to is that he joined the club for money. If he's not joining a club for footballing reasons, the only other reason that he's joining is for money reasons. I just found that a bit weird. I didn't read the article, but obviously I did see the quotes. But I'll be real, I'm not going to judge Mason Mount. Sorry, I'm not going to judge Mason Mount on this season until he has a full run of games in the first team, regular football, and he doesn't get injured. Now, if he gets injured again, if he comes back after the international break and he gets injured against Chelsea, or he gets injured against Liverpool after the international break, then I'll be like, okay, maybe this guy can't stay fit. Because then that'll be his third injury just this season. He got injured at the beginning of the season, at the end of August, got injured again in November, and then could possibly get injured again. So if that's the case, I would maybe be a bit more skeptical. But right now, the reason why I'm not skeptical, because I think it's quite unfair. The same way I don't judge Ahmad. And I'm not saying that they're the same in any way, but I'm saying that the reason why I don't judge Ahmad is because he hasn't had a fair chance at first team football. Do I know what Ahmad is capable of doing? Yes, because I've watched him at Sunderland. Do I know what Mason Mount is capable of doing? Yes, I watched him at Chelsea. Have I seen him doing it in United? No. Have I seen Amad Diallo do it at United? No, because they have not had the opportunity to do so. So I think it's kind of harsh. I'm not gonna lie, I think sometimes it is a bit unfair to paint a player with one brush and paint a player with another brush. We've got to be consistent with it. And, they are both in the same kind of category for me. The only difference is obviously we brought Mason Mount for a big fee, gave him big wages. That's it. I think he's on 250 a week. And obviously we brought him for 60 million, but we need to give him a fair run of games now. Will he get a fair run of games? I don't know. I actually don't know if he will actually get chances under this manager, because it means Casemiro or Kobbie Mainoo is getting dropped. And I'm not going to lie, Kobbie Mainoo, the idea of Kobbie in the lone six, it gives me heart palpitations. Not because he can't do it. I don't want him to do it. I think Kobbie is an 8. I think he plays better as an 8. I think he can play as a 6. He can play as an 8. He can play as a 10. But I think he plays better in that 8. A bit more advanced, not being the last midfielder, having to do that, the more of that defensive work. I think he's much better there. But will he and Mason Mount play together? If they do, then that means Kobbie is playing as the deepest midfielder. Will the manager drop Casemiro? Even though sometimes Casemiro is looking like he should be dropped, Casemiro is really looking like sometimes he needs to be dropped. Will the manager drop him? I don't know. I don't think so. United, if Casemiro does not have a future in Manchester United, then United should get comfortable with playing without him in the midfield. I'm not gonna lie. Come on, man. This is just mean, man. We know where Malacia is. I've even joked about it before, saying that I said he's in witness protection, but we know where he is. He's had injury. I think the only thing that I think is why United are not really showing him anywhere at the moment is I think that he's had a injury or something. I think he's had an injury. Obviously he's had a surgery or something, and the club don't want it to be news because something went wrong. And maybe that's why I believe the whole talk business about the fact that he got surgery in the Netherlands behind the manager's back, and had to get another surgery by with the club's doctors' recommendations because the surgery got messed up. I'm starting to kind of believe that. Do I think United need to buy a left back? Absolutely. United have to go out. If you do not think, and this is the thing, this is why the more I think about the financials of the club, the more I think, where do United buy where is all this money coming from that United need to buy players with? Because we need a left back, we need 2 centre backs, we need a midfielder, we need a backup striker, we need, I would say, a backup left winger. We need at least starting players. Well, we need about 5 starting players. And starting players don't come cheap for Manchester United. Hopefully that's changed now, new ownership, new structure, all of that kind of stuff. Hopefully that changes. A right wing, we even need a right winger. Damn, we need a right winger as well. If we sell Anthony, Jadon Sancho will get sold. I think Jadon Sancho will get sold this summer. I think Mason Greenwood would get sold. Maybe Anthony might stay. Maybe Anthony might survive it. Maybe Anthony might survive the summer car boot sale that's happening outside of Old Trafford, where United are just going to open their boot and just lay out players for teams. Anthony could survive it when I think about it. But I do think United need a right winger. They definitely need him. United need pretty much players in every position. They need players pretty much in every single position. And the more I think about it, maybe United need to sell Rashford for 75 million. Maybe that 75 million price tag, now that I think about it, because just before earlier in the stream, I was saying nah. It needs to be at least 100. If I'm living in a world where Mudryk is being brought for 100 million, Rashford has to go for at least 100. But now I'm thinking about it, maybe 75 million is more likely. It's more likely. How many? Let me know in the chat, guys. Let me know in the chat what positions you think United need in order of priority. Give it in order of priority. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. However many positions you have. I think number 1, midfielder, central, a DM. Oh, I need a box to box. I need an engine. I need a dual monster. That's what I need to partner Kobbie Mainoo. That's the first. For me, that's number 1. Number 2, centre back. Right-sided centre back. Number 3, I would say a left back is number 3 for me. Number 4, I would say a backup striker. Number 5, I would say a second centre back. Number 6, I would say another midfielder. But again, I think it also depends on, I'm not gonna lie, I think it also depends on outgoings. I think it also depends on all the possible outgoings in the team. If there is going to be any outgoings of value as well, I think it depends on that. Whether there'll be money available to the club to buy these positions, because we could go out and maybe get one player on a free, but I don't think the free agency market is saying much this summer either. I don't think the free agency market is saying much. So a lot of the people United are going to have to buy. I've seen, it's funny that they're saying 75 million for Branthwaite. This is now another theory I have. Do you think this PSG Rashford news is suddenly 75 million? Yeah, 75 million for Rashford is how much they're willing to pay. Because they know that United are after Branthwaite, and the price tag flying around Branthwaite is about 75 million. I know there's reports that Everton possibly want to go up to 100 million because they think he's worth that. But I told you, I got PTSD from the last time we brought an English centre-back, yeah, from a lower half team. I got PTSD because the last time we did that, we brought Harry Maguire. We brought Jacob Harry Maguire. His name ain't even Harry Maguire. It's Jacob Harry Maguire. We brought Jacob from Leicester. So that, to me, I still got PTSD from that. I didn't watch Branthwaite at Everton, at the Everton game. I've watched him with the last couple months. I do think he's a good centre back, but it will be interesting to see. It seems like a lot of the players that we've been linked to are all players of Premier League experience, which is why I just don't see us going for players outside, like players at PSV or Barcelona. we've been linked to quite a lot of centre-back in the last coming days. I don't know if you guys have seen. We've been linked to Jules Koundé. We've been linked to Bremer. We've been linked to Debo. We've been linked to Branthwaite. And these are all, to me, a different kind of mix of players. These are all a kind of different mix. Big up to Starlord says 1 centre-back, 2 centre-forward, 3 left-back, 4 CDM, 5 centre midfield. 5 starter says need 2 DMs because Amrabat is going to be leaving 2. Forgot about that one. Big up to David says left back, CDM, or centre back, DM, striker, right winger, right back. Do you think United need a right back? I mean, they've got Dalot. Could have Wan-Bissaka's contract finishes next year, so they might sell him this summer. They could just extend him for a year and just, test the waters next summer. A 10, a big up to Atom K says a 10, a centre back, a left back, a striker. So everyone is kind of under the impression that we definitely need a midfielder. That's for sure. What kind of midfielder is, I think, can be argued, whether it's a deeper player, a 6 or an 8 or a 10. I definitely think United need a 6. 100% I think United need a 6 to play next to Kobe, because Kobe is not going to be a 6. I don't think in the long term he's going to be a 6. Number 1 midfielder, 2 centre back, 3 left back, 4 striker, 5 right winger. The thought of even having to buy a right winger as well, guys. The thought of even United having to go out and get a right winger as well. Damn, I don't even think about it. Left back, centre back, DM, right wing, left wing, centre forward. We're literally building a 5-a-side team. We are literally building a 5-a-side team. 1 centre back, 2 DM, 3 centre forward. It really does seem like centre back and midfielder is the most common one, which is I think the most obvious one this season. I think has been, you know what is so funny, guys? I've gone 58 minutes or so without mentioning Erik ten Hag. You see, someone said on my stream a couple of days ago that I talk about Ten Hag too much. Here today is a prime example that I nearly went a whole hour without mentioning him, and I'm only mentioning this. I'm actually not going to talk about Erik ten Hag, but I just had to mention that. But it's quite telling that centre back, midfielder, that is 2 of the most damning issues that United have had this season. Playing so deep because of the centre backs that we have, midfield being destroyed because of the lack of quality or the lack of technical ability we have in that midfield, preventing us from playing the way that the manager wants us to play. So United have to definitely get a DM. But I think a big part of it is going to be about money. It's going to be about what is going to be available. And also, guys, Euros are happening this summer. Do not hold your breath when it comes to transfers. No way do I see any deals being done until after the Euros. I don't see United having any, and this could actually be applicable across most of the league. I don't see players and agents doing business whilst there's a big international tournament going on, just because it doesn't tend to happen. Players tend to just want to focus on the international game or the international tournament if they're there. Unless a player doesn't get a call up, I think that's the only way I see moves happening. But if there's players who have got called up by their national teams to go play in the Euros, I don't see moves really happening like that. Unfortunately, I don't see it happening. So it'll be very interesting. I think it'll be very interesting to see in the summer, man. You guys know what it is. As always, like I said, during Ramadan, we'll be here 10 p.m. UK time streams. For the people that I feel bad, because obviously time zones, it'll mean not everyone can catch a stream. So I'll try to cater in the daytime. It just means, I won't be able to drink water on stream. That's it. But I will try to do a daytime stream as well for, to cater for people in other time zones, man. You guys know what it is. As always, like I said, I'll be here every night, 10 p.m., especially in the lead up to the FA Cup this weekend. Got a preview stream coming up for that. We're back with the women's content, coming back with a vibe along on Sunday, just before the men's game. So, you can come for the pre-match vibe. You can come for the pre-match vibe, and you can obviously watch that game as well if you want to. We're going to be vibing. We're going to be chit-chatting as always. And like I said, I'm coming with a pre-match stream, build up to that FA Cup game. I don't even want to talk about it. I'm not going to lie. I don't even want to talk about it. And then we're going to do a post-match one. Hopefully, it'll be off the back of a win. Hopefully it will be off the back of a win. I don't believe in fingers crossed, but you know, I'm hopeful. You guys know what it is. I'll be back tomorrow, same time. You could probably maybe even catch a stream in the daytime as well, man. You guys know what it is. Be sure to hit the like button on your way out. If you are watching this back on repeat, be sure to hit the like button. Big up to everyone in the chat, anyone that sent a super chat, anyone that joined the membership club. Big up to you lot. If you want to join the membership club, you can. It's the pinned comment in the chat. You get your badges, you get your emojis, you get your custom member content, and of course you get to support the growth of the channel. As always, you not know what it is, man. I'll be back tomorrow live right here. Until next time, guys, it's your girl Mina. Peace. Oh, and everyone, have a great day of fasting tomorrow. Sorry, I forgot to say that. Everyone, if you're fasting, have a great day of fasting tomorrow, man. I'll be back tomorrow. Peace.